Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Naked Roommate for Parents Only, A Parent's Guide to the New College Experience, by Harlan Cohen. Narrated by Brian Holden. Publisher's Note: in this audio edition, you will hear asides and quotes appearing in the print and ebook editions. These brief sections will be prefaced by the word quote throughout the audiobook. This publication is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold with the understanding that the publisher is not engaged in rendering legal, accounting, or other professional service. If legal advice or other expert assistance is required, the services of a competent professional person should be sought. From a Declaration of Principles jointly adopted by a Committee of the American Bar Association and a Committee of Publishers and Associations. About the Second Edition. Welcome to The Naked Roommate for Parents Only. The first edition of this book was called The Happiest Kid on Campus, A Parent's Guide to the Very Best College Experience for You and Your Child. For this edition, we wanted to link the parent book with my best-selling book on college life, The Naked Roommate and 107 Other Issues You Might Run Into in College. We toyed with the idea of calling this edition The Naked Parent, but you just can't call a book The Naked Parent. I'm confident you'll find this new edition more manageable to navigate and all around a better version of a book parents already love. I'm thrilled to have you here. The Naked Roommate for Parents Only is an ongoing experience. I want to hear from you. I invite you to participate in this book. If you have feelings you want to share or something you want to add, post a note on the Naked Roommate Facebook page, facebook.com/TNR fan page, or the Naked Roommate website for parents, nakedroommateforparents.com. And feel free to send me a note to harlan@helpmeharlan.com. Subject, For Parents Only, 3rd edition. Thank you. A Very Naked Beginning. Welcome to the start of the book and the beginning of your college experience. I know this might be an emotional journey for you. Some of you might be happier than ever. Some of you might be sad and on the brink of tears. Some of you might be too numb to know how you feel. Tuition bills can do this. Whatever your state of mind, I hope this book will help. I hope this book will do for you what it's done for countless college students who have read The Naked Roommate and 107 Other Issues You Might Run Into in College. And that's to help you get comfortable with the uncomfortable that is part of the college experience. As I tell students and mention throughout the book, college is 90% amazing and 10% a bunch of BS. Too many times, the 10% takes up too much of your time and your child's time. This book will keep the 10% from taking up too much time. It will also help you enjoy, relax, and feel better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Welcome to The Naked Roommate for Parents Only, your guide to the best college experience for you and your child. Introduction. The New College Parent. Quote, "No matter what happens, remember that we are proud of you." On a note my mom wrote to me when she dropped me off my freshman year. Gracie, Jr., UC San Diego. The New College Parent. Welcome, young parent. I know you might feel old having a kid in college, so I used the word young in the first sentence of the book to help make this a happier experience. Welcome to your child's college experience. It's so real, you can see it all, hear it all, and sometimes even smell it all. You are more connected, have access to more information, pay more, want to be more involved, and are more likely to email, call, text, tweet, Facebook, fix, force, solve, strong-arm, and make sure your child is as comfortable as possible. As your son or daughter walks through the college experience, you are literally in your child's hand. You are with him or her in class, during exams, while eating in the dining halls, studying at night, going to parties, coming home in the early morning, and sleeping over at a friend's room. Just resting, nothing else. You are there on the very best days and the very worst ones, too. All it takes is a push of a button, and you can be there to comfort, guide, support, advise, elevate, empower, excite, motivate, love, and just listen. And more than ever, college students are calling, emailing, texting, and reaching out. You are more accessible, more present, and more a part of the college experience than any generation of parents before you. You are the new college parent. Quote, people look at me cross-eyed when I tell them that we talk to our son on average every other week. Other parents tell me they talk to their kids every day. That's fine. Whatever works for you. He knows we'll call if something is really important, and we know he'll do the same. In between calls, I'll send him a text from work once in a while, just to tell him I miss him. Mom of college sophomore. 20 years ago, parents were lucky to hear about a child's problems during a weekly call. Drama that unfolded on Monday was hardly important 6 days later on the following Sunday. Today, a parent often hears about an issue as it unfolds in real time. Even worse, sometimes a student resolves the issue and forgets to tell the parent. So while the student has moved on to the next problem, he forgets to tell mom or dad. Meanwhile, mom and dad are busy working to find a solution to the first problem, and the student has already moved on to the next problem. Drama unfolds quickly in college. 25 years ago, a child in college would talk to mom or dad once a week or less. Today, some students are in contact with a parent several times a day. A parent doesn't just hear about a messy roommate. Now you get to see a live video feed of your kid's roommate's dirty underwear on your child's bed. Yes, that's the new bedding you just bought under that dirty underwear. Before you roll your eyes and think this is all crazy, it's important to understand that students are willing participants in this relationship. Some children like having you as an active participant. Some will never tell you to stop. Some will ask you to call them in the morning with a wake-up call, and you better not. When something happens in the life of a first-year student, many times they want their parents to be involved. Quote, my roommate's mom gives her a wake-up call every morning, and then there's at least 2 more phone calls a day. But she doesn't seem to mind. Her mom will even text her while we are at parties and tell her not to drink too much, which I think is a little strange. My mom and I talk about once every 2 days for about 30 minutes. If I sound homesick or upset on the phone, even though I would never tell her, she figures it out, and there is either a card or a small package in the mail for me 2 days later. I know my mom misses me, but we made a deal that I wouldn't come home and she wouldn't come here for the first month. I am so glad we decided to do that. It has made it so much easier to become adjusted, and I feel like I'm not as homesick because I get to spend weekends meeting people and making new friends instead of spending time at home with my old friends. Erica, freshman. When there's good news to share, this is fantastic. When it's not such good news, it's not so fantastic. Sometimes they just want you to listen. Other times they want help working through the situation. Sometimes they want you to swoop in and solve the problem. The amount of information, the kind of information, and the way you're getting the information is something no parent before you has had to process. Whether you are hands-on or hands-off, you're always close enough to lend a hand. Whether your student lives on campus or commutes, you risk seeing things and hearing things that will pull you into this experience. And students love that you love to solve problems, so if you let them, they might be willing to let you solve it all. The role of parents according to one university president. The relationships parents have with the university can now be called in loco amicus, friends of the community and partnership. Dr. E. Gordon Gee, President, The Ohio State University. Being so involved and so accessible means that parents need to know more. They need to understand the college experience. They need to have a baseline of what's normal and what's not. They need to be informed and aware so they can alleviate problems instead of elevating them. They need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable so they can guide, support, and help their children do the same. How a parent responds to the constant ticker tape of breaking news and emotions is a direct reflection of how much parents know and how comfortable parents can get with the uncomfortable. College is 90% amazing and 10% difficult, or a bunch of BS. A new college parent who understands the 10% difficult can keep the 10% from taking up 100% of your time and your child's time. That's what this book is about. The tips, stories, and suggestions will help you develop a baseline so you can calm your fears, find answers, and help your child have the very best college experience. Quote, "My roommate had his girlfriend over for the night. I sent a text to my dad. Should I go in to go to bed or what? He said, just do it. I then noisily said goodnight to the rest of my suite mates and entered the bedroom. Turns out they were asleep. They weren't doing anything. Phew." Christopher, freshman. My college experience. I never saw it coming. Before I share the story of my first-year experience with you, I want to make it clear that my college experience was overwhelmingly amazing. It just so happens that my 10% BS came during the first few months of college life. I'm grateful to have experienced it and lucky I didn't have a cell phone, email, or the ability to stay more connected to my family, friends, and long-distance girlfriend. If so, I don't know if I would have been able to get to know myself so well and grow up so fast. My college experience started when I was 10 years old. I was in the back seat when we dropped my oldest brother off on the campus of Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. As we drove back home, my mom said, "I'll only cry to Indianapolis." As she puts it, I sobbed to Martinsville, I cried to Indianapolis, and I whimpered all the way to Chicago. 3 years later, my other brother went off to begin his college experience. He drove himself to campus and moved right into the fraternity house. Quote, "We had to call the police on 2 parents. One mom complained that the room was too small for a double. The other mother in the room told her to relax. That's when the demanding mother slapped her." Sophomore, resident assistant. 5 years later, my own college experience began. As the car rolled down the driveway, my stomach rolled too. I was anxious, excited, nervous, sad, and sick to my stomach. I knew this was the next step in my life, but to me, it felt like I was being pushed. Life was good at home. I had friends, a girlfriend, and people who liked me. When it came to researching my college decision, I didn't do a lot of it. I knew I wanted a big school experience, but didn't do enough research to know why. I decided to attend the University of Wisconsin in Madison. UW-Madison had a great reputation, and I thought it might be a good fit. Whatever a good fit is for someone who doesn't know what it means to find a good fit. What could go wrong? After 2.5 hours, we arrived on campus. My parents and my brother stayed long enough to help me move in, not long enough to embarrass me. They said their goodbyes and drove back to Chicago. I watched their car leave and felt so incredibly alone. I had no cell phone to call them. There was no email to write, no text to send. I was on my own. I headed up to my room to hang out with my roommate for the first time. We had talked on the phone once or twice to discuss what each of us would bring. He was relaxed about everything. The fact that he was so relaxed made me even more anxious. We talked for a few minutes. He said his #1 goal was to not go into rehab like his older brother. Minutes later, he reached into his backpack and pulled out some sort of shrubbery. I wasn't familiar with this particular shrub. He offered me a hit. I told him I was full. I didn't know what else to say. The next week, he moved out. He wanted to be with someone who partied. Not that this would help his goal of not going into rehab. This wasn't the way things were supposed to be with my roommate. My roommate was supposed to be a best friend. He was supposed to be standing at my wedding. He wasn't supposed to move out after 1 week in college. Not knowing anyone on campus and not having many options in terms of friends, I was left to make the most of the people on my floor. The people in my hall became my friends. Even if they were the biggest a-holes in the world, they became new friends. After a few weeks, I started hanging out with some of my new friends. When most of my friends decided to rush a fraternity, I decided to rush too. A few weeks later, rush ended, and they all got bids, invitations to join. Everyone but me. The next day, I was literally asked to leave the room when my new friends hung out because I couldn't be with them while they discussed pledge secrets. They had fraternity events, date parties, and rituals that put me on the outside looking in. I called my parents once a week. Usually we talked on Sunday nights, but there wasn't a firm time. My mom didn't want there to be a firm time because if I didn't call, she would think there was a problem. Occasionally we would talk more often, but mostly it was a weekly conversation. Long-distance calls were expensive. Finding privacy to talk was a challenge. In academics, I found relief from the constant social jockeying for position. In the classroom, I knew my place. I knew my role. I didn't have to worry about talking to people because part of the classroom experience was talking. I managed to excel in the classroom. In fact, my education was the best part of my experience. It was everything outside the classroom that was uncomfortable. But in college, class is just a few hours a day at most. Taking 15 hours of classes leaves 153 hours a week to kill. Subtract 7 hours of sleep a night, and that's 129 hours of time to fill. That's a lot of time to be uncomfortable. No one told me it would be lonely at times. No one told me it would be so emotional. I didn't find my place at UW-Madison. In fact, I never felt more out of place. What was so frustrating was that all this was happening at a university where everyone was having the time of their lives. In my mind, I had to be defective because the university was amazing and everyone else seemed so happy. It had to be me. I had thought college was just supposed to be this magical, amazing experience. It was like being on a moving walkway. It was just supposed to be great. I expected college to be like high school, only with more freedom. I expected to magically find friends, find my place, feel happy, and feel at home. Here's what no one told me. I had no idea what was normal and to be expected emotionally. I had no idea that homesickness was normal. I had no idea that not all roommates become great friends. I didn't know it would take time to find my place. I didn't know I would have to work to find my place. I didn't know I would have to take risks to find my place. I thought I would hook up more. I thought I would get into a fraternity. I thought my long-distance relationship would work. I didn't think it would be so cold. I didn't know I would get depressed at times. I didn't realize it would be difficult at times. If only I had known this was normal, I wouldn't have spent so much time beating myself up emotionally. If only I knew to be more patient, I could have eased up the pressure on myself. If only I knew how to find my place, I could have taken action instead of being paralyzed with fear. As my freshman experience got heavier, the only thing that lifted my spirits was my long-distance girlfriend. Her name was Alexis. Still is Alexis. She was my high school sweetheart, and she was still in high school. I loved her more than I loved myself. Not hard considering I barely liked myself. I had no idea why she was so in love with me, but I didn't want to ask because I was afraid she might think about it and break up with me. It was first love for both of us, and it was as intense as it could be. She visited me on campus once. We talked several times a week, but not for too long. It was too expensive. As my first semester dragged on, my long-distance relationship became heavier and harder to maintain. She was having the time of her life as a senior in high school. I was a bummer. Our relationship couldn't sustain the weight of my first-year transition. After a few months of us trying to make it work, Alexis's dad had a heart-to-heart conversation with her. He compared our relationship to a dying puppy, urging Alexis to shoot the puppy. Listening to her father's wise advice, Alexis called me on the phone. Then she shot the puppy. It was over. After crying over this relationship, a weight lifted. I realized that my girlfriend wasn't always going to be there to make me happy. The guys on my floor weren't always going to be there to make me happy. My loving parents and older brothers weren't always going to be there to make me happy. I was the only one who was always going to be there for me. I was the one who had to make me happy. It was the first time in college that I realized that I was in charge of me. And this is when I took charge and college life changed for me. And what happened next? I transferred. For me, transferring wasn't about giving up or quitting. It was about doing my first-year experience over again. Even though my second semester in college was far better than the first, I still had lingering feelings from the rough start. I wanted a do-over. Both of my brothers had attended Indiana University, and it was always a comfortable place. I didn't even realize why it was so appealing at the time. I thought I knew what I could expect there, because I was familiar with the campus. My parents supported the decision. They had never seen me so sad and wanted me to be happy. The next fall, I drove myself to Indiana and moved myself in. I didn't call this my sophomore year. I called it my second freshman year. Amazingly, most of the problems I dealt with my first freshman year were waiting for me in my second freshman year in some form or another. Only the second time around, I knew the secret. I knew what was coming. Instead of letting the 10% take up 100% of my time like it had during my first freshman year, I got involved on campus. I gave my roommate permission to not be my best friend. I approached my professors and gave them permission to know that I didn't know the answer. I was patient. I was kinder to myself. I put myself in rooms where I didn't know people. I surrounded myself with the type of people I wanted to get to know. I put myself in the right places to do the things I wanted to do. I knew what college was about. I knew how to win. The naked roommate has been my way of preparing students for all the things I wish someone had told me about before I started college. This book is a guide for you so that you understand all the same issues. As a new college parent, it's vital that you get comfortable with the uncomfortable first, so you can help, support, and guide your child later. Your college experience and theirs. A helpful list for parents from a student 3 months into his first year on campus. By Manas K., freshman and resident hall president at the University of Maryland. 1. Everything doesn't have to be moved in on the first day. 2. Let me pick my own roommate. I'm the one living with him or her. 3. You have every right to join Facebook, but I'm warning you, you're not going to like everything you see. 4. Here's my schedule. Please don't call me during class because it's embarrassing. Any time else is fine. 5. I'll come home, but not every day. 6. I'll need you when I call you. I'm going to have hard times whether you like it or not. 7. You'll know I miss you when I tell you. 8. We share the same blood, but my sibling is not the same person. Please don't compare us. 9. I have the first aid kit you made me. There's a nurse 24/7 who I'll call if I need help. 10. Don't listen to everything you hear about frats and sororities. 11. Let's talk before you visit. Not all kids like surprises. 12. I'll look weak if I need my parents to talk to my roommate. I'll handle it. 13. I definitely appreciate your advice about choosing a major, but college has changed in the last few decades, and I'm sure I'll find what I love. 14. I'll talk to you if I need help. 15. Please trust me to make the right decisions regarding relationships. I'm a big kid. 16. If I don't come out to you first, please don't be offended. There are just other people who might be able to relate a little better. 17. Professors hate parent complaints. Please don't send them angry emails or call if I fail my first essay. 18. Chances are someone will notice if I have any disorders and I'll get treatment here. Only call if I'm too gone to know it. 19. It's all inevitable in college. You've done what you could to prevent me from making stupid choices. The rest is up to me. 20. I'm in college now, but you don't have to let go of me. Just loosen the grip a wee bit and read The Naked Roommate. 21. But at the end of the day, and please never forget this, we love and miss you, and not just for the care packages. Tip number 1. The summer before. The emotional roller coaster before the first fall. The tip. A little road trip can leave all the anxiety in the rearview mirror. The story. My dad and I were sitting in the living room one night watching television, and he was asking if I was nervous about leaving for college. I told him that it really wasn't the thought of leaving that scared me. I was more afraid of not knowing my way around or where anything was on campus. The next morning, he came in my room around 8 a.m. and woke me up. He told me to get dressed, that we were going to the school. The campus is about an hour and a half from my house. It wasn't a very well-planned trip, so we didn't have a tour or anything lined up. Once we got there, we found the dorm that I would be staying in. My dad did some searching and found an RA who was willing to show us around. After Megan, the RA, showed us the residence hall, she volunteered to show us the rest of the campus. It worked out perfectly. While we were there, my dad kept making jokes about how he was going to come back to school because he didn't remember it being so cool. After the tour, we ate in the dining hall, which has amazing food, and started talking about my still being afraid. After spending the day with him there and getting to see the whole campus, I felt much better. Samantha T., freshman, Nichols State University. The emotional groundswell. Whether your son or daughter is traveling across the country or attending a community college down the street, things might get emotional. I've been writing my Help Me Harlan syndicated advice column for the past 17 years. Each summer before the start of college, there's a groundswell of letters from students sharing their deepest fears and anxieties. Rarely do these incoming students express their feelings to their parents. Here is one of my favorites. Dear Harlan, I leave for a large university in a month, and my relationship with my parents is becoming very stressful. I am the oldest child, and their stress is projected onto me, which only adds to any stress I have on starting this new life. I'm very excited about college, but they claim that the way I express my excitement is making them feel forgotten and irrelevant. I want and need my independence, but I am starting to feel guilty for the way I feel. Any advice? Discombobulated in Milwaukee. Dear Discombobulated, if you express your excitement with a tearaway calendar on your bedroom door counting down X days until I check out of this motel I've called home for 18 years and do whatever, whenever, with whomever I want without you ever knowing, ha ha ha, they might have a reason to feel forgotten and irrelevant. Here's what is happening. For 18 years, your parents have been presidents, CEOs, and rulers of your life. In a few weeks, you take charge. On top of this, having a child in college might make your parents feel sad and not as young. Finish it all off with the price of college, and your parents might be feeling a little sadder, older, and broker. Meanwhile,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?